Almost probably.
If not, it'll be an interesting hour talk.
Oh god.
We are live.
But to start off, this is the Cringe Worthy Geeks podcast. I guess you guys can introduce yourselves.
Wonderful cat. Good stuff.
Start, Elisa?
Sure. I'll start.
You
Hi.
can
Oh, should I go?
Yeah. Just tell what you do and all that good fun stuff.
All right. Hi, my name is Elisa Stern. I created Dr. Puppet, which is a web series on YouTube, but we're kind of all over social media at this point, posting puppet photos and lots of different Doctor Who stuff. But the main thing that we do is we make stop motion animated Doctor Who videos for YouTube.
And are you you're the main sculptor, right?
I make all the puppets myself. Dr. Puppet is a team effort, but I'm the creator of it, and I have sculpted all the puppets myself. When we make the videos and we make the sets and the different props and stuff, there's some other artists who work on that with me, but I'm the only one who makes the puppets because that's my favorite thing. So I hoard all of that work and I do all that myself.
Very cool.
Yeah, I remember catching one of your Instagram live streams. I think you're working on a...
Yeah, I was doing that for a while when the last year or so, whenever I am working on a puppet, that actually helps me a lot. I do Instagram live streams. Before that I was doing some stuff on Periscope, but now I pretty much do it on Instagram. It's been a few months since I did one, but when I was working on the Bill puppet and then the Nardole puppet, I streamed a lot of that. It's great. It helps me work. It's sometimes it can be kind of boring, so motivation from an audience. So thanks for watching.
Pretty monotonous, can it? Just
can be, especially just when working with clay. At some point, you just kind of have to smooth it all out. Or when I make the wig, that's very monotonous. I make the puppet wigs. It's a lot of individually placing little groups of hairs just over and over. It takes hours. So that's something that's very good to live stream because it's so boring for me.
Very true.
Hair. Wow. Sorry, I'm actually not familiar with your work. I'm more or less acting as the engineer in this conversation. The engineer who likes to comment. So,
well, you can watch everything on YouTube. It's very easy to find. But luckily, I guess luckily, stop motion animation takes so long to do that even though we've been making these videos for almost 5 years, you can watch everything we've ever done in a couple of hours. Which is pretty sad.
It's watching your I think it was the Clara and the 12th Doctor, the Christmas special one you made.
We've made 5 Christmas specials, but the most recent one is called the 12 Doctors of Christmas. That's probably the one.
Oh, I saw that one too, but it was I think it was the Planet Christmas or something.
The Planet That Came for Christmas. Yeah. That's my favorite. That's from almost 3 years ago. Yeah.
And I didn't even imagine how many people it takes to put that together after the credits start rolling. Yeah. That was so amazing. You got so many people on that.
I know that one was really special. So yeah, that will always hold a special place for all of us because it was the first time we made an ambitious video with the 12th Doctor. We've been doing this so long that most of our videos have the 11th Doctor because we've been telling this story and we've been telling it since the 11th Doctor was the current Doctor. Now we're at the very end of the 12th Doctor's era, but that's how long we've been doing it. But the Planet That Came for Christmas was the first time we were doing an ambitious video with the 12th Doctor, and it was standalone, which is unusual. Most Dr. Puppet videos are serialized. So we were doing this ambitious standalone video with the 12th Doctor. It felt really special. And we actually, that was the first time we did crowd funding. So that's why there's so many names in the credits, because we did an Indiegogo campaign to raise some money. So we could spend more time on that one. So we, you know, we've had little bits of money here and there. We are not a production that has a full budget. This is mostly a passion project still. So any money we have really helps us, you know, pay for more supplies. It means that a friend that animates for me, it means I can give her some money so she can take a week off of freelancing and come work for me, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's why that one had so many names. We were able to have more people work on it and spend more time. And also we were able to get a lot of musicians working on the music, because music is a really big part of Dr. Puppet. It has been from the beginning. Even when I made the very first Dr. Puppet video, I knew even then music would be important, but I didn't know any composers. So I put this random ad up on my Tumblr page at the time and said, anyone know any composers who would be willing to work on this thing for free? With their friend. And this guy, Scott, who was a total stranger to me, and he did some music for me, and he was just so good. And he really, bringing him on board and getting to know him just really changed the whole production and really made it like really, it became very heavily dependent on the music, and it's become a huge part because we don't have dialogue beyond narration. So Scott really did some incredible work, in particular on The Planet That Came for Christmas. It has an orchestral score, and we were able to get a lot of live instruments playing on the score. We have a string section. We were able to get all these people, because we had that money, we could pay all these musicians to record music for us. And we had a whole choir in there. Scott is also the narrator, and he sang the choir, a big part of the choir. He was the whole men's section. So that episode is very near and dear to my heart. Yeah.
Like you said, the music's so important to work on.
It is.
But even like the just like the eyebrows, like you put so much expression into their faces and stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm very pleased with how much we're able to get in terms of expression, because it's funny you mentioned eyebrows, because none of the puppets actually have movable eyebrows. Their eyebrows are painted on. In the case of the 11th Doctor, he doesn't even have eyebrows. He just has a brow ridge. There's no eyebrow so much. Yeah, 11th Doctor has very well, Matt Smith has very faint eyebrows, so I chose to not give him any. But I've always been just so pleased with how much expression we can get out of them, and that really that's thanks to the amazing animators who work with me. I do some of the animation, but there's whole episodes that I did no animation on. Aaron and Rachel are the two animators I work with. They do the majority of the animation, and their work's incredible. So all of that expression is really down to them, because they're so talented.
It almost reminds me of those did you ever play those old Lego games that were based on like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, that type of thing? No,
I know what you're talking about though, but they also have, they're very simple, just, you know, black eyes, little, you know, black dot eyes, very basic. But simple doesn't mean you can't get expressive. You know, it means you can actually exaggerate it even more versus like a realistic face, which is too subtle sometimes.
But I didn't like how recently they actually added voices to the games, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of like, no, that kind of ruins the whole spirit of it.
I know. So. Yeah, Dr. Puppet's always been, for the most part, you know, without dialogue, because I didn't want to fake the voices. So, you know, with rare exception, the only real line of dialogue that's ever been in a Dr. Puppet episode was one of our videos that has the 4th Doctor in it. Scott is, he's so talented as a voice actor. In addition to being our narrator, he does such a good 4th Doctor impression that I had him say a line as the 4th Doctor. You know, would you like a jelly baby? And lots of people think that I just pulled the clip from a 4th Doctor episode, you know, that's actually Tom Baker. It's not, it's Scott. But he's just that good.
But is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the next person?
I don't know. I could talk forever. So if you have any questions, but um, I mean, I could talk about what we're working on now and what we have coming up next.
Oh wait, do you want to do that in the end of the podcast so you can kind of
Yeah,
advertise it if you
well,
want?
certainly we can get there. Yeah, but ask me anything.
Yeah, I guess. So Karis, do you know your turn to talk now?
Great. Well, I was to say, I'm 17. I've been watching Doctor Who for about 10 years now.
Wow.
It's pretty much most of my childhood.
Uh-huh.
I'm even watching it now.
That's great.
They're old.
Ninth Doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Good old Christopher Eccleston.
Well, I was people from like throughout the states and the different country. Well, one different country. So maybe we can get some different perspectives on some different things, some topics I've got picked out.
Wait, there's other countries outside of Hamburger Land?
I don't know.
Who knew?
Who knew? He might be an imposter, Karis. But wanna say, or you've been doing lately?
Well, it's not a lot, really. I mean, I don't know. I guess apart from the new series ending.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on when you're 17.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a 17-year-old in the middle of Kansas. You have even less going on.
I make projects, so I'll get that later. But I guess you could go, Ryan, if you want. Here.
Okay.
No, that's be interesting.
My name is Ryan. I'm a drunken lecher of a man.
Great.
Who,
awesome.
Being a child, I traveled all over the United States, paid taxes in 12 states.
Wow.
I used to do construction, welding, steel erection. Now I'm the manager of frozen food section at a grocery store.
Cool.
My friends. My first introduction to Doctor Who was I would watch it on the syndicated bits of it on PBS with my mom when I was a little kid. And then a bunch of buzz about it. When would that be?
Reboot?
Well,
probably 2006 or 7.
I got introduced to it around 2011, 2012.
Oh, it's Matt Smith.
Yeah, and from the first time I saw
Smith?
No.
Probably Tennant. Eccleston?
Eccleston.
When
he grabbed Billy Piper, and that I've just been hooked ever since.
Yeah, it was a very iconic start. It really brought the series back.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I've kind of fallen out of it. It's a little bit harder for me to get a hold of the episodes now. Ethan let me borrow the episodes, but
I forced him. He had no choice.
I'm having a hard time, if I'm going to be honest. But I really do like Doctor Who. I think it's a really meaningful series. Pours things in such a unique light that, yeah, there's just no comparison to anything else.
It's true. you know, the show's been able to be on for so long because of that. You know, it has this really great, you know, the structure of the show, that it's always changing, it's evolving with the times. They can bring in a new actor, and you know, it's a show that is built to evolve with the world, which is pretty cool. There's nothing else like it. You're right.
I think it's always great as well that they can always pick out audiences from different generations. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are or even where you're from, you'd still fall in love with the show.
For sure.
That's about how I get some of my different friends to get into the show, because it's like you said, Karis, there's like so many different on for so long, and so many writers and actors have been in it. You can completely hate one season or Doctor, love the next season or the next Doctor. So just they can be completely different.
Yeah.
His favorite Doctor was Matt Smith, but my favorite Doctor Who episode is a Matt Smith episode.
The beauty of writing.
When a Good Man Goes to War.
That's a good one.
That is good.
Actually,
the two-parter one.
Yeah.
I loved those, the tops for me. I love that.
Well, actually, that's the next subject I want to talk about is our best episodes in our opinion. If you guys want to hop into that, I can do that.
Yeah, I can go. I know mine.
Fine.
My favorite episode is Heaven Sent. So
I guess I'll let you start. We'll let's just go with 3 episodes. You can just name, say it, or just describe it, and then just your reasons why, I guess. So you can shout again.
Yeah, my favorite episode is Heaven Sent. So that's the 12th Doctor episode from series 9. That's a great episode. And it's really the 3-parter, which is pretty cool from that series. So that's like the middle episode of basically the 3-part season finale. And I like the other 2 episodes, but the Heaven Sent is just incredible, because that's the episode where it's basically just Peter Capaldi by himself talking to himself, and he just is such an incredible actor. I don't think any other Doctor could really have handled that. Maybe Tom Baker, but I don't think, you know, that's, you know, every era is so different, and Peter Capaldi is just such a tremendous actor and has such a presence that handle an episode like that where it's just him alone talking to the camera. It's wonderful.
I think that's one of the rare gems we probably won't get again for a while, because I don't think you've even gotten to it yet, Ryan, have you?
I'm reading the synopsis and it's not jumping out at me, so I don't think I have.
It's not.
You would know it.
I think it almost did. It get nominated for some awards? I'm pretty sure it did.
I'm sure. Definitely, it was the standout episode from series 10 for sure. It's the one that they were pushing to be nominated. Yeah. So for sure, it's real special. And I mean, everything about it, the direction and the writing and the acting and the editing is spectacular. I love the score. They still haven't released the series 9 score, which is.
I know. I'll listen to that crappy edit of it, or you can kind of hear the voices in the background.
I know. I have listened to that many times. Whenever I think that I can't overcome something, I listen to that piece of music, and then I think like, well, the Doctor did it.
It's the bird in the mountain speech.
It's so powerful.
So, any other ones that you're particularly fond about?
My favorite, just for different eras, my favorite 11th Doctor episode is the 11th Hour, which fantastic episode, and I know that's his first one, and he really never topped it, which it's not really a shame, I think, because that was just such a perfect introduction. I think that's the best introduction that a Doctor ever had. The 11th Hour is just a wonderful introduction to the character of the Doctor. It was clever. It brought Amy, the new companion, into the show in a really unique way. Yeah, that was really the high point. Unfortunately, it started out so strong, he never topped it, but I'm a big fan of that one too. It's probably my second favorite episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah. I think the ending of that episode was one of the, like you said, one of the best introductions. That's even, I've actually heard interview where Stephen Moffat, he was talking about like how he gets inspired when he's like depressed writing. He'll like just rewatch that, and where I think it's the ending where he steps through the different doctors and he's like,
Yeah, again, like you couldn't have made it more perfect. That it just the writing. It was so clever. Moffat's very good at that kind of thing. He really finds ways to like bring
that's his downfall.
No one's perfect, but that is what Moffat is very good at, is like making these little moments work super well. And just like Heaven Sent, I won't spoil it, but one of the things that makes it work so well is it's a metaphor for regeneration. He's really good at finding these very interesting metaphors and putting them into the episodes. And the 11th Hour certainly had that with the introduction, where he had to like puff up his chest and explain who he was to the monster, but that was simultaneously introducing himself to the audience and to Amy. It was like this, Moffat has a wonderful way of like checking a lot of boxes with one little piece of a script. He's just the best at that, for sure.
Very true. Say though, in the I don't want to say he's at a low point, because like you said, Heaven Sent, that's actually one of his later episodes.
This series, I mean, and Heaven Sent was series 9, and we just finished series 10, and the series 10 finale, I think, is actually a stronger finale than series 9. Heaven Sent by itself is fantastic, but I think that this series finale is actually better for Doctor Who as a whole. It's a stronger finale, so I think Moffat's actually in a really good place. He's actually each 12th Doctor season has gotten better, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, could you guys stand season 8 very well? Like the writing, at least. Like I love Capaldi, but tough, I thought.
I think that they made some challenging choices, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly like Capaldi's Doctor at first because the season 8, but once season 9 came, I just absolutely fell in love with him.
It kind of made sense for his character though, because he went from the Matt Smithy character to the I don't know. There's just one thing I've seen before. It's it kind of share like why each Doctor's personality changes from each one. I don't know what it's called though, but it kind of, there's like a pathway where it's like if the Doctor's all happy and something, this event would make him the like when Capaldi first started, he was the completely grumpy, didn't really care if anyone particularly
quite like dark.
Died. They had to die. He knew they had to, but with Matt Smith, he would do anything to stop it, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, they said they made some, kind of interesting, challenging choices that were, like they with Peter Capaldi's introduction, they basically really kind of started him at a certain point, and they wanted him to be able to grow. So they had to start him as being, kind of complacent, kind of not always a good hero. He was the idiot. He called himself that. So so that he could literally grow. And I think that was also, it's like a parallel with his hair. Since they started him out with really short hair, he's the only Doctor whose hair has radically transformed, and the hair represents like where he is in his like personal development. So as his hair gets fluffier, he gets softer, he gets more caring. Like he had to kind of rediscover himself, and I think that was an interesting arc. I say interesting because while I appreciate the arc, it did make some of his early episodes more challenging.
True.
Which maybe was not the best thing for the show to retain viewership, but I do really like where he is right now. He's definitely at his best, and I will sorely miss Capaldi. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, honestly, if I know they're not going to do this, the ratings are but they're pretty high still. But if they ended with the latest finale, if they just ended the show then, really justified. Like
To end the show where?
just you got to the finale, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh
No,
Orion, but
I haven't seen it.
do you care if I little spoilers?
Spoil it. Do it.
Well, basically, the 12th Doctor, he kind of decides it's kind of 10th Doctor-ish. I mean, yeah, 10th Doctor. He's kind of like, I don't want to regenerate.
He says the line. I don't want to go.
Doctor's lines. He's going through like PTSD regeneration, where he's kind of like, he kind of just realizes like, if I change again, I won't be me. I don't want to go through that again. I'd rather just die than. And it's kind of because he's evolved so much throughout his seasons that it kind of makes sense for his character to be like, I've already changed naturally as a person. Why would I?
Yes.
You know,
but this is all it's true. It's a really great observation because what it's all set up for is the 13th Doctor. This was written with her in mind because they knew it was going to be a her. Yeah. So the Doctor he doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to do this. So when he finally decides to change, it's going to be radical. He's realized, like, you know what? I'm good with change. Let's change. Let's actually change for real this time. That's what it's all about. Yeah. It's a setup for him to make a radical change and become her.
And I think it's a great time for that.
What was that, Karis?
I feel like it's a great time to radically change.
Yes,
at this point
that's what they're doing. Yep.
But tell me, you guys, if you guys would hate this. Yeah. What if with the 13th Doctor, like, he was telling the next regeneration kind of like, this time, hold back, just let it go. And he started like kind of hating the idea of regeneration. What if the next Doctor is kind of like, say like hating, but kind of like thinking the whole time, kind of like I shouldn't exist. Like I'm like I don't want to go like too angsty, almost like the I think the 9th Doctor kind of had or kind of guilty about like the war, but not quite to that extent. Just kind of like she remembers what Peter wanted, and she kind of broke what he wanted. Unless the new Christmas special like changes that.
I think it's going to be completely opposite because I think right now he doesn't want to change, and obviously he's going to decide to change in this big way. So I think the 13th Doctor is going to be like free of that burden because the Doctor has decided that change is good and I'm okay with change now. And I think coming off the 12th Doctor, I have a feeling that 13 is going to be probably a radical difference. I mean, of course she will be, because it's not just because she's a she, but we have new everything on the show. We have new showrunner, new executive producer. So they're going to make radical changes on the show. So I think that radical change is that she's going to be tremendously different from Capaldi. And I think it's probably going to be the opposite. I think she's probably going to love who she is because Capaldi is a very self-loathing at times. So I think that she's probably going to be a return to someone more like Matt Smith, someone, more happy-go-lucky, who's very confident. I suspect that is what we're going to get with her, but we'll see. Time will tell. But I'm seeing this massive setup for that. I could be completely wrong, but clearly this whole "I don't want to change" is the change that's going to happen.
Wouldn't you think the events of the finale, like Capaldi completely failed? He never got, well, in his opinion, he never got the Masters to team up with him. Nardal's in his, like, he doesn't know. Well, I guess in the Christmas special now, I guess, but before then.
I think we'll probably revisit that, some of that at least, but maybe not all of it. But I think that that's really going to be him kind of coming to terms with all of that for sure. We'll see what the Christmas special entails. Yeah.
Well, I guess you can mention another episode if you like.
Well, going down the list
Oh,
for
wait.
me,
Is
After this, you should ask Harris.
after 3.
nah.
Well, if they have 3.
For the 10th Doctor, I very much like Midnight. That's a lot of people say
Oh.
Blink is their favorite. I think Midnight's the better episode. Maybe that's controversial.
Midnight, great.
You like Midnight?
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
The
And it's
the
very
train one,
contained.
right?
Yeah, it's like a tram. They're on that
Yeah.
planet. Yes.
Really keep repeating.
So
Hmm.
It's quite like it takes it away from the companions as well. You know, we've just got the Doctor and what he'd do in this type of situation where he's got scared humans and he's pretty much scared himself.
that is one of the their best episodes, I think, when it's just the Doctor in like trapped in a situation, no companions, just
Heaven
random.
sent.
Yeah.
Big fan of those episodes where it's a bottle episode. It's contained. It's trapped. That's good. Those kinds of episodes are wonderful. I can't do too many of them. You know, just one a season or every
Yeah.
other season because they're so good. So they're like Dalek episodes.
Well, I believe it's your turn, Karis.
Oh God.
I'll hand the mic over to you.
Yeah, it's a hard decision. I think I really enjoyed Journey's End. You just for the fact like you get to see all his companions back together, and at the time you thought it was kind of like the lead up to the end of the 10th Doctor, but I don't know. I feel it's like it would have been a great way for him to go, but I'm grateful it wasn't. And also, it was like that series. There was a lot going on. Like, there's a lot of references to like genocide and the Holocaust, and it was like you can see that it's all built up towards this story where the Daleks are pretty much going to commit genocide, a mass genocide on all planets. And it's like it's quite a serious tone, but it's like you still learn something from it, pretty much like any other Doctor Who episode.
But yeah, that episode, I was actually surprised because I revisited that particular episode for I was pulling a clip for a video I was making on YouTube. How much was in that? Because it's just so much going on. Like when I was just skimming through it for that.
Yeah.
Episode I saw when it aired, like live, but that must have been really exciting because it was like the coming together of the spin-offs, right? Like you had like Torchwood in there. That must have been so cool when that aired. Wish I was I don't think I even was watching Doctor Who when that aired. I think I got into it around that time, but I wasn't ever watching anything live, so that must have been really cool to watch on TV that night. Great episode.
Yeah.
No, I was watching Sarah Jane Adventures by then, so it was quite cool to see Kid and Luke be on it.
Mm-hmm.
A good series to watch. Because I've never got a chance to watch that.
Sarah Jane Adventures? You don't know what you're missing if you haven't watched that.
I've never watched it either. I should watch it.
Well, you should watch it. I mean, it is like based for kids, but I mean, it was a good way for it to continue their story, I guess. And plus, there's more stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, the only spin-off I've seen is the Torchwood series.
Same.
I don't know.
I've
There's a
seen all
lot
of
of
them now.
there's a lot of different opinions on that if they hate it or like it, but well made. You can tell it goes through different writers throughout the different seasons, but it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah. I liked it.
So, any other ones you'd like to mention?
I feel like the big one, Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, it's definitely one.
So, like, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, I mean, it's an extended episode. That's a benefit for one. And then you've got 3 doctors in it. Actually, no, you've got all 13, 12.
I guess if you count splice clips.
Yeah.
That was really a neat scene, though.
They count.
But yeah, that's probably the most I'd call that one a movie, wouldn't you?
I saw it in a movie
It's-
theater. Yeah.
It's a movie, so
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess it's not officially like considered. Well, is it?
Brochacho, it was in a theater. It's a movie.
No, because they premiere at Doctor Who episodes of movies at theaters sometimes. It's more of a movie than the actual Doctor Who movie from the 90s was.
It's true.
But yeah, that one's definitely one of the best rewatches to.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed Bad Wolf and Return of Rose.
Did you watch that one live, or were you just rewatch it when you got into Doctor Who?
No, I watched it when it was on the telly.
Ah,
Because I remember it was like, it's probably one of the best days of my life.
Aw.
I've been out all day with friends and games catching fire, and then just came home and watched that, and it was like, I was so excited. Sat on the floor in front of the telly watching it with like a big smile on my face.
yeah. Reaction to the finale this year, but I actually never got to till I think season 9. I never really got to watch them as they were being released because I just got into Doctor Who pretty late, like junior high, I think. More of a just binge watching the hell out of it until. And
You said a naughty word. That's cute.
nah, it's a fictional place. That's not. But watch the Hades out of it there. But yeah. Did you anything like special you got out of that episode, Karis? Or
I don't know, I feel like as well, like a lot of people complain about the Daleks being overused, but I think it was either well done in that episode. I mean, I know it's based on them because it's the whole Time War, and that's what I love about it as well. It's like you get to see more and learn more about the Time War, what happened. But I feel that the Daleks in it were like used for justice, and the fact that we got the return of the Zygons.
even the Daleks in that episode, they're more just like the backdrop for the episode. It was more
It's
focused
like
on the
they're just there for the Time War.
yeah. If you wanna,
I was quite grateful that they weren't like the main villain and that the Zygons actually were.
oh yeah, that's actually a revisiting of a character, which
Yeah.
I didn't even know at the time. I guess it's up to you if you're gonna choose another episode or whatever you want.
I don't know. I mean, overall favourite series would be series 4. I just love Donna and the Doctor's relationship in that whole series.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the one, like the series I can remember the most watching.
Story about Donna. or I mean,
Yeah.
not Donna. Her the actor that played her. I should know her name.
Catherine Tate.
Yeah, Catherine Tate. Well, I went to a convention a few months ago, or a month ago, I don't remember. But I was in line to get a poster signed by Catherine. Her
Yeah.
It was either her manager or her husband. I honestly don't know. But he was the poster I gave her to sign. It had just different. It was like a mock parody of Indiana Jones poster with Doctor Who, kind of.
Cool.
But it had like the Cybermen and the Daleks in the corner, and her manager or whatever was like, "What are those? Is that R2D2?" And I guess he's been with her for a long time because she's like, "No, that from the photo shoot we went to." So he's who's actually been to the BBC's office and is actually from there. It's like, no.
I've been at the BBC office. They have a Dalek just sitting out. That's ridiculous.
Sweet.
You can't go down a hallway without running into one.
So I was like, I wanted to say out loud, Catherine, and then right away.
Wow.
But yeah.
I even went on set and he had a Dalek out.
Do it?
Yeah.
I went on because I went to the experience, but at the same time they were doing the TARDIS tour, and they had a Dalek house and were explaining like how the person controlling it would be sat in it, and that you have to be quite short to be able to control a Dalek. And I was actually quite fortunate because John Davy, he does some of the Cybermen and he operates the Daleks, and he's played other monsters as well. He was actually there and he was like giving us his own experience of what it's like being in a Dalek, and to come on the world tour with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was actually he was
sorry.
a pretty cool guy to talk to.
But I think a couple of the doctors have actually been in the Daleks, like they're actors, you know. Because have you it came out like as the 50th anniversary came out. It was like there's it was kind of like a parody thing. Like it got sixth and the 7th, I think they're actors, and it would just the plot was they're trying to call the BBC and like get into the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, the 5 doctors.
Why shouldn't we be in it? But it showed like them trying to hijinks the anniversary and like, get in there. But it ended up like the scene where they got into it was there were some Daleks in the background, so they just climbed into those. So they're like, "We got it, we're in the episode." But my favorite part of that was it had a scene in it where he's just like they're trying to call him up to get in the episode, and he's just like no or something. He just hangs up. It says like a David Tennant, a Matt Smith action figure. He's like pushing the like a kiss, not kiss.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's like oh, see Moffat. So this episode is just fan fiction for you.
I mean, Doctor Who at this point, it's made by fans. It is fan fiction. It's all, everyone who's working on the show grew up watching Doctor Who, and they're all massive nerds. And Chris Chibnall, the new showrunner, is no exception. That if you've seen that clip went around YouTube of him as he's a teenager and he's like a part of some Doctor Who fan club, and they're interviewing him on TV about what he thinks of the new season of Doctor Who, and he's like, I don't like it. And he's critiquing it. 30 years later, he is the showrunner, so he can do what he wants. He's had 30 years to think about how he would write Doctor Who. And, he has written for it, but now he's the boss, so he can do whatever he pleases.
He has become the alpha nerd.
Yes, exactly. Good for him. That's what makes me excited. And Moffat was he was the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the nerds, Ryan.
My favorite episode is When a Good Man Goes to War, and I will tell you why it is my favorite episode. It starts with Amy Pond's monologue to River Song, Melody Pond, whatever. And it was during that playing up the intrigue of, is it really Rory's baby or is it, it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of hinting at.
Mm.
They did that for most of that season, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I should say.
It's that Stephen Moffat thing again, where he really condenses clever ideas into nuggets. Where he kind of created he built up this identity for Rory that basically was the Doctor, that he paralleled them. Very clever.
Yeah, and we get a very strong maybe that Rory is probably definitely the father when he steps onto the Cyberman space station in full Centurion guard, and on screen is very assertive. Now, where is my wife? And kaboom! And it was just a thrilling roller coaster from then. I thought the headless monks were not the most inventive creature of the day. Wait, were they in other episodes?
I reference, but I don't think they're the main characters.
Yeah.
In order to defeat this cabal of darkness and silence and whatnot, the Doctor had to call on all of his friends and some of his foes and called in all the favors. All these great characters together. The bounty hunting space rhinoceroses and the warrior potato people, and it was great.
Oh, wow.
And it also kind of had a bittersweet ending to it, which, if any fan of drama is worth their salt, will admit that that's the best kind of ending.
I loved the score to that ending as well. The score was really well done.
Yeah. One of the best of, well, 12th Doctor gets sometimes, but his is kind of relaxed than Matt Smith's was.
My other favorite episode, which isn't really an episode, was, I can't even remember the name of it, but it was the War Doctor.
Yeah.
And that was great because John Hurt. Come on, you guys didn't spaz out when you found out that John Hurt was the Doctor? That was so cool.
That was, and it was what was really great is it didn't leak, it didn't get spoiled. That was pretty awesome because it's pretty. I'm always really disappointed. I think that obviously we kind of knew that the Christmas, the guest star of the Christmas special had really been spoiled. So him showing up was not a surprise, but the War Doctor, that blindsided me. I don't think that leaked at all. No one knew that was coming. Correct me if anyone knew. I didn't. I don't think that anyone online really knew, right?
No, I didn't know.
I'm aware of.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's kind of impossible to avoid spoilers nowadays, though, because especially with
they also managed for
but
Paul McGann's little short, The Night of the Doctor. Although that was interesting because they actually ended up releasing it early. They released it like a day or two early because they knew it was going to leak. Someone had found out about it and basically emailed the BBC and told them we're publishing. So BBC just released it to avoid spoilers. So that also landed with a surprise And yeah, but the Christmas episode, we all knew that was coming. Well, I mean, I did. Maybe if I wasn't so active on Twitter, I wouldn't have been spoiled. But
Oh god.
um,
Even by your followers, it's just the BBC's advertisements because they can't
oh,
let anything be
No.
a surprise anymore.
That's
I got
entertainment
spoiled
company.
for
True.
yeah. Back in series 8, I remember being really mad because they spoiled Danny's death because obviously I don't watch Doctor Who when it airs in the UK normally. I watch during at my time, and so I I have to avoid the internet in the meantime. And I kind of forgot it was like the afternoon, and I forgot that Doctor Who was airing in the UK. It just started airing. I looked at my Facebook, and the BBC had posted on Facebook, "R.I.P. Danny."
Yeah.
Please, guys. Like, and I looked at the clock. I was like, Doctor Who started 5 minutes ago. Like, I mean, then when I finally got to the episode, I was like, oh, right, he dies literally at the beginning. But, still, like, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty big, like, plot point, at least.
And at least it was at the beginning, but...
Yeah.
I was like that with Clara the week before Face the Raven, because everyone kept releasing pictures. So for like a whole week, I was avoiding social media because like Clara, I do like a companion as a companion, so I was quite upset that she was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like it's a hard week because your life revolves around social media nowadays.
It sure does.
Yeah, it does. But I guess it's like hard for you guys because like I'm here in Britain, I watch it live on the BBC, and then you don't get it like until a few hours later after we've watched it. So by then,
it takes about 10 hours for that.
by then we've like released all the spoilers on.
Yeah, gotta be careful. Yeah, but they could do a better job of trying to keep secrets at all. It'd be amazing. I know this will never happen, but it would have been so cool if we didn't actually know the identity of the 13th Doctor until Christmas. If it just regenerated and we found out there. But the BBC knows
a tradition now.
It's just impossible for them to keep it under wraps. So they don't even try. But it would be cool. Maybe one day they'll manage. Maybe one day.
We can hope.
We can dream.
Well, and they were priming the audience pretty hard for the female Doctor.
Oh, I was 100% expecting it. I mean, they were telling us all season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was just
they already had that. Have you guys heard of it's like the Doctor Who polls for there's like a betting pool for who the next Doctor is going to be.
Yeah, my sister was running it.
One girl.
I should have bet in it because I was right. I guessed her. I actually did for my real job, my day job. I do get to make Doctor Who content, stuff for social media, and we did a little like Doctor Who profile thing. And I had to work, the BBC announced on Friday that they were going to announce the Doctor on Sunday. So I came into work on Saturday to prep this whole, post for social media of, here's a breakdown of all the Doctors. And I made them, little, playing cards with, stats. And when it came to the 13th Doctor, I had prepped it to, just be able to fill it in as soon as they announced it. But I put Jodie Whittaker's name in there. I was like, I bet it's her. It's gonna be her, and I put her in ahead of time just in case, and it was right. Should have bet some money.
You could have been the leaker.
Yeah, I know. I had
accidentally, but
I had a feeling for a long time it was gonna be someone from Broadchurch. It just felt right. I'm like, he's gonna cast someone from Broadchurch.
And there was kind of a clue. There was a kind of clue on the trailer that they released on the Friday with the cliffs.
Oh yeah,
to me it looked like Broadchurch, but I didn't really think that it would be here.
Yeah. Also, and they showed the Statue of Liberty, so that's a woman. So that was another thing. And they showed the front door of or
Downing
10
Street.
Downing Street, and you know the prime minister's a woman, so it's like, yeah, telling us. Yeah, I didn't even think of the cliffs. I kind of forgot about that. You're totally right. That was another clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah,
Me
definitely.
too. Me too.
Especially with the new writers, that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I kind of hope that with this female doctor, they get a few more female writers and female directors. That's bothers me a lot more than I think Doctor Who has been fantastic with representation on screen. Could always be better, but it's been consistently very good with that. But behind the scenes, that's where they need to do the work. They could improve on their more female writers, more female directors. So hopefully,
As
the
long as
series 11
oh,
will do that. As long as what?
Oh, as long as they do it for the right reasons. Like like they chose Jodie for the right reasons, I think. Good actor. She had she's worked with the but I don't know, I feel like with a lot of different
and Moffat he kind of got in hot water once because someone asked him why there weren't any. I think series 8 had 0 female writers, and he got in hot water because someone asked him why, and he said something about how there weren't enough qualified female writers.
Yeah.
And someone, it was kind of a dumb answer, but he's being truthful. But the thing is, he's the one in power who can give female writers the experience. So that makes no sense. It's like, well, Stephen, you step up then, and hey, you're recognizing there's a problem, that doors aren't open for these female writers as often as maybe they could have been, because you're hiring a lot of experienced writers, and it's true that these older experienced writers come from a time when there wasn't as much opportunity, but you have the chance to bring on some young writers, and he did bring on some younger female writers, and I think there's certainly room for improvement. But I hope that's something that they work on. I think that'll be very important.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I just I'm a little hesitant about it myself because I look at what's happening with Marvel Comics right now, and their diversity at all cost sort of policy right now, where they are hiring people who are insufficiently qualified to be the writers for these characters, and they're doing silly things. They're ignoring their own canon. They're, I feel, being a little and when the longtime fans make any criticism of this, it's they're assaulted with the the word salad buzzword, that, oh, you just don't get it because you're X, you're this ist and that. And man, I read one of them, and they're just really bad.
But I think it goes down to what we were talking about. You have to do it, like I said, do it for the right reason. They're qualified, and anyone from any gender, you can identify as whatever you want. If you're a good writer, you're a good writer.
I don't want all the writers to be men because men are better writers.
Yeah, but
best writers to be on the job.
To be able to say that you can't find qualified female writers, it means you're not looking hard enough. So that's pretty lame excuse. They can pull it off.
I think I want to give him that. Like, I'm not gonna let him buy by that comment, because he should. If that season was completely perfect, it had all the great writers, sure, he could have said that. But he had some episodes that were not had. Wait, what season was that? Season 9?
8.
Season 8. Yeah, the writing for that series season was pretty god awful, I thought. So he can't pull that excuse for that, because it. You can't complain about not getting enough good writers when there was no good writers in the first place.
Fair point.
In my
Very
opinion.
fair point. Big improvement, and he found Sarah Dollard, who, female writer, fantastic. Like, for him to say he couldn't find one for Series 8, he found one of the best writers. I think she wrote Face the Raven in Series 9, which is one of the strongest episodes. Exactly. So, he did find his good female writer. Surprise, she was out there, and I'm sure they will find more. I hope she stays on for Series 11. We don't really know who Chibnall's going to bring on, but he's also writing on Series 11. I don't know if anyone else had heard this, but he's kind of doing a different approach than Moffat. He's going to do a writer's room approach. This is totally different. Moffat's style was every episode was kind of doled out. He took the episodes he wanted to write, and then he gave all the writers like a short brief about what their episode had to accomplish. But really, the writers it was up to them to like create a framework that just got the episode to where it needed to go. Whereas Chibnall is going to do a writer's room.
Actually, I think that's something for a long time, because
he said that right when he got the job. I think that was like always his, he made that clear from the beginning. He wants a different approach. So all the writers are going to be in the room together, and they're going to brainstorm together, and there's going to be this kind of collective ownership where everyone gets to throw ideas out. So I'm excited. I think that'll be, because I really did like Broadchurch quite a lot. I hadn't watched it until Chibnall was announced, and then I took it upon myself to, see it, and I was very impressed. The first season especially is, my God, it's devastating, but it's very well done. I really like how he wove all the characters together, and really fantastic. So I would love him to bring that to Doctor Who. Like, my hope for Series 11 is, like, how cool would it be if it was kind of the same idea as Broadchurch, like at its core, where it's like a space mystery.
Yeah.
And you have the whole season arc to solve the mystery, right? It would be interesting. I kind of want that serialized approach where every episode is a cliffhanger. I hope we get that. I think we will. We'll see.
Yeah. And you gonna move on, Ren, or?
I'm starting to run thin on time, so.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just mind if I mention like an episode or two.
No, go for it.
Okay. I would say my top is the actually one of my just favorite to like rewatch or whatever is the this episode. That's you guys all know the one, right?
Which one?
Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful one. Moffat.
One, wasn't it? Or I believe so. But it's just, I don't know, it's just a cool like little self-contained, it's like an episode as like just enough emotional, like it pulls you into it and it's just interesting enough. And the monsters are, I don't know, just everything about it, it's just something, it pulls you into it, and just like I wouldn't mind watching it like several times. There's something you can like, or something new you'll see.
The Doctor's reaction to the monster was absolutely great.
Mm.
You are beautiful. It'd be a crime to destroy something like you, but doesn't mean I won't.
And that episode was basically the Moffat reused that idea for Amy Pond. The idea of like the Doctor meeting someone as a kid and then leaving and coming back right away, and the imaginary friend. I mean, it's the same thing. That's okay. The Doctor can repeat things, ideas, and revisit them, and the showrunner can revisit things. And I think that's why the episode too.
It's like, I'm not gonna say that one episode's better than that whole arc, but it's almost neater because the Doctor ends up pretty much failing for that episode because he can't save her.
Yeah, Amy Pond is like he was correcting that mistake.
Yeah. It's actually kind of maybe what Moffat was going for.
I suspect so. Yeah. I mean, it was it's not exactly the same, but he took the
conceptual parallel there.
Yeah. Girl in the Fireplace is an episode that I recommend to people who want to get into Doctor Who. I know a lot of people, they always recommend Blink, but I think, Blink's not a very typical episode, so it's not a very good one to recommend to people. Nor is Midnight, really, because there's no companion, so it's not typical. But Girl in the Fireplace is wonderful. It's typical. It has a really neat time travel element. It's just quintessential Doctor Who. Great first episode for people who need to be convinced to keep watching.
Yeah.
And for my next pick, none of you guys have maybe seen it, but it's the War Games. It's a second Doctor story.
That is a very good one.
Well, also have my reasons for it is the same as yours. It's just the perfect, like you're saying for Girl in the Fireplace. It's one of the greatest introductions to the classic series, rather than the New Who, because it just it kind of gives an essence like what the show can be, and just how if you're not familiar with the episode, it's the one where the second Doctor is forced to regenerate. He's pretty much sentenced to death by the Time Lords. So that's
the first time you meet other Time Lords, right?
No, because there's the with the first Doctor, there's the one where he's trying to like mess with the events of this battle. He just like messes with.
Oh, wasn't he traveling with his niece?
I think it was after that, but it was around that time, the first Doctor.
And she would have been a Time Lord as well.
Oh, yeah, duh.
His
But other
granddaughter?
than family, I guess. Yeah,
Granddaughter.
granddaughter.
We'll see her soon.
Yeah. War Games, it's just, I don't know, if you don't know the premise of that episode, it's the Doctor and the companions. They think they've appeared in I think it's the First World War. Yeah, the first one. Wander around, get out of it. They get captured like usual. That's a pretty common thing for the early seasons. But so they're doing that, weird stuff's happening in the background, typical Doctor Who. And they figure out they're not on Earth, they're in like this simulation kind of thing. And they realize they can travel to different like time periods, like one's Civil War, one's World War One, the other one's like, I think it's like Ireland or no, Scotland. So that's where one of the companions is from.
Jamie.
So it just shows like what they can do with time travel, and it gives some new aliens that are, I wouldn't say the most unique, but they're a more interesting premise than a lot of the classic Who monsters or creatures, because they're not hard to describe, but it's a neat little thing that it's pretty long, because the classic episodes, they're like 5 to 10 episodes long for one story. But if you can get through it, I'd say that one's worth it if you just want to skip through classic Who.
I quite like that as a classic Who episode. I haven't seen a ton of Second Doctor. But that's my favorite one of his I've seen. It's it's really well done, very clever. Like, it's the kind of story I could see them revisit and kind of do revisit that concept. I mean, they have done the simulation, but not really the same. But I could see them doing that again, and the Doctor could be like, "This feels familiar."
Yeah, but plus I love Jamie. I think it's Jamie's ending, the Scottish one.
All of them and Zoe, they get their memories erased. That's like the first time that I think.
Yeah, I think
the
that
companion
was.
gets their memory erased, and they get sent back to, Jamie's literally in the middle of a war fighting England, and they just send him back to war, and he's like, oh, okay, and he just picks up where he left off, like fighting some English people.
Doesn't even check if he lived or died, though. It cuts off right before he attacks the other people. It's like, I bet he's fine, but he might be dead.
Yeah, and Zoe goes back to her planet in the future.
But we're kind of running a little short on time, I think. So, how much time do you think we have, Ryan?
15 more minutes.
Okay. If you can, let's try to pick our favorite Doctors with a brief description of why, our reasons. Do you want to start? Doctor's puppet.
All right. Well, I am a big fan of the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. Really love a lot of his episodes. Just really like him as the Doctor. He's really, there's a bias because I've done so much with him because of my puppet. So I just feel really close to him. So I'm going to say Peter Capaldi for sure.
Yeah. Ryan?
David Tennant will always be my Doctor because it came through in just about every episode that he did that he was having the absolute time of his life.
Mm.
He wanted to be the Doctor since he was a little kid. And then, wham, there he is. Even as one of his first lines, Alien did, "Who are you? I don't know." That was the character over for me immediately. And then his last words as the Doctor, "Go." It felt like David Tennant saying, "I don't want to stop doing this." But I haven't dug all that deep into what's actually going on behind the scenes, so I could be completely wrong, but really endeared it to me.
Yeah.
That, and he had a cool screwdriver.
Oh, yes, Kez, do you wanna?
I'd have to agree with that, like David Tennant, mainly because for me, he's my first Doctor. I started watching him when it was series 3 with Martha, so it was like I got to see them 2 series with him and then watch back Chris Vexon and then him changing into David Tennant, and it's just era as well, that whole, like, I love those stories, his stories. I think that he's got quite some great, like, storylines, and it's just, I don't know, it's just something about that Doctor. It's like, for me, like, if I was to imagine a Doctor, it would always be his.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. It's like, for me, he's like a role model, that Doctor.
Good pick, both of you. But I guess I'm the only one left. But I don't know if my pick is because I'm just a fan of bad movies or but actually one of my top ones I would have to put the Eighth Doctor into it because McGann? Okay. But I feel like he's one of the Doctors that got the shortest end of the stick because if you don't know the story behind the Doctor Who movie, it was the classic Who got canceled because it was just a bunch of shit was happening that caused that. But so they wanted to promote mainly Doctor Who in the Americas, so they were using a I think it was from Canada. They got to make it, so it's like this weird like just branded with the '90s like on it.
It sure is.
The plot, how it's made, but it's
but the Master's costume is the most 90s thing that ever existed.
It's like the Terminator if you made him even more stereotyped.
Yeah, and if he went to like the leather outlet at the mall.
Good idea.
As being from the 90s, I can attest those were real. That happened.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we let that happen.
I'm a product of the 90s as well. Oh, yes.
But yeah, I think he's one of those out for the Doctor that he put in his all and he acted his ass off, but he
still does.
He had nothing to really show for it besides his actual acting. So it's kind of like not just I feel bad for him, but I feel like if be given his own series if that show got enough popularity. But when you write a crappy movie, you're not gonna get the green light for a show, you know. He was a different doctor than the other ones because he was more of like a ones say it may be because it was Americans or Canadians writing him, but it was just something different where he wasn't the stereotypical doctor. I guess he was more of a, I guess, romantic. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy this. So it was just a nice change, and they I guess he got enough popularity that he get continued in like comics and audiobooks. And with the 50th anniversary, he got that little mini movie before it, you know, like you were talking about.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
So he's just like an interesting character and part of the lore of Doctor Who that's like shown for some reason. But I guess that's almost it, guys. Thanks for being on here and talking. It's been quite the fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
I don't know if do you guys want to promote anything since we're at the end? I
can promote all my stuff.
Go for it.
Like I said at the beginning, my stuff's all on YouTube. Just search Dr. Puppet, Doctor spelled out, of course, like in Doctor Who. And I would suggest, if you haven't seen my stuff, you can watch the Christmas specials, and then you will find a handy dandy playlist that is the Adventures of the Dr. Puppet, which is this longer serialized story I've been telling. There's 7 parts to it, and we are working on part 8, which is the finale, and we've been working on it for a while now. I'm sorry to say it's taking longer to make than I wanted it to, just because it turned out to be quite epic. And stop motion animation takes a very long time, so we're working on it. We hope to release it by the end of the year. I'll be posting updates as I know that. I also suggest you follow me on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook. I post lots of updates behind the scenes. I drag my puppets with me all over. Anywhere I go, I drag a puppet and take a silly photo. So follow me for all of those weird puppet updates. And thanks so much.
Groovy. I'll be sure to put a link to most of that in the doobly-doo when we're all done here.
Awesome. Thanks.
And as Karis, do you have anything to advertise or tell about?
Can I advertise Doctor
Who? I guess why not?
Yeah, just like give it a watch. Like any of the episodes we've pretty much said, I'd say watch from one of them because they're all pretty much just great episodes. I think it's like as long as you don't like skip 9. if you do the new Who.
That's true. Podcast has been an advertisement, so you're welcome, BBC.
Copyright strike.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But Ryan, you have anything yet?
I'm kind of in utero with my channel. I'm planning on doing a slightly political commentary and talk about music and I don't know, just off my chest. Ideas, but nothing's really solid right now, so I really don't have a whole lot to shill other than, you know, this has been happening on my channel. So if you want to distance yourselves from me in the future because I say something crazy, I fully understand and I give you that option. So yeah, that's that.
We shall now all avoid you from now on.
But
I guess all I have to really well, the YouTube channel this is going to be on. Well, you can put this on your
right?
We're
going to mirror it to yours.
Okay. So this, it's pretty much just, if you haven't checked it out, I'm making our they're kind of little interesting like history tidbits
He
from,
does very good retrospectives.
yeah, like one's over Origin of Frankenstein, the classic movie in the book from the 1800s. The next one's like on the Gremlins movie production, and I think the next one's going to be about some very obscure action figures from Doctor Who that I compared them to Kenner, the classic Star Wars. Yeah, weird
Comparing.
why they're so like obscure. So yeah, I'm working on that. So it'll be weird. But and it's called McAllister Art, and I just do a bunch of drawings. Eventually, I want to sell like prints or whatever. But a lot of it's Doctor Who if you like that. Yeah, if you like any of the stuff we've shilled or talked about, go watch Doctor Who. And I guess this is the end. This is episode 1 of the Cringe Worthy Geeks.
Spines are still intact.
They are not.